Hey everybody, before we get started with today's episode, I want to issue a huge trigger warning. Today's episode is going to be quite gruesome. There's going to be talks of demise, early demise. There's going to be talk about predators online and just all of the bad stuff that you can find online. So if this kind of thing is not for you, I strongly urge you to skip this episode and we'll see you next week. But for all that are curious, huge trigger warning. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sketchfest podcast. I am one half of an idiot over here. I'm Chelsea.
I'm Jake.
Hello, Jake. Thanks for being with us.
Hello.
He's literally my co-host. But yeah, thanks for being with us today. We're literally in your apartment. Let's just stop there.
Mm-hmm.
So thank me for being...
Welcome.
Falling off the deep end right now. Anyways, hey, welcome back to Sketchfest. Today we're going to be talking about something a little interesting, to say the least. But I mean, it's within the bounds of Sketchfest. It's quite sketchy if you think about it. So
it's pretty dark.
It's pretty dark. I mean, it can
dark.
be dark, but there's also some things that we're going to talk about today that really aren't as dark, but are more so just inappropriate. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch and decide that you don't want to listen to inappropriate shit, we're going to talk about what we mean when it comes to inappropriate. But today's episode, we're going to be talking about sketchy websites that we had absolutely no business being on. Yeah, because there's a lot of them. Don't you agree?
There's quite a lot.
There's quite a lot. And I mean, there's a lot of scary stuff that happens on the internet anyway. So in our last episode, which was hopefully last week if we're on time, we talked about parasocial relationships, and towards the tail end we talked about how the internet can be like a really great tool, but it can also be a very harmful place. So today we're going to talk about a little bit more of the harmful places on the internet, the darker side.
I'm so excited.
I know.
This is like...
I can see the excitement in your face because I know that you've seen some shit.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's like war flashbacks for you.
Okay.
So how about, since I really took the reins on the last episode, how about you start us off?
I love this shit.
So let's talk about one of your top picks.
I don't really remember when I like really started like seeing like all like the fucked up like not safe for work shit, but okay. Let me tell you this. After like years of that stuff though, it really does like desensitize like you to a lot of things, like a lot of grotesque things. You're just like meh, like I don't really like whatever.
I agree.
Like it's cool.
It's like
you
exposure
know?
therapy.
Huh?
It's like exposure therapy.
I guess. I mean,
desensitizing at its fullest fucking potential.
Like it's crazy because like a lot of people like well like you know like let's say Cannibal Corpse, right?
Okay.
Like me and my buddy, like we fucking love them. They're so fucking good. Just saw them last.
Jake is a metalhead.
Yeah, dude. I just saw Cannibal Corpse like last November.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
That's all.
Nice.
Continue.
No, but man, I totally lost it now.
Sorry, you were talking about Cannibal Corpse.
I was talking about Cannibal Corpse. Okay.
See, I throw everybody off with my body
man,
movements.
what the hell?
My bodily functions.
I'm not like, I'm so like, I'm thinking of like a million different things at the same time. So I've lost my train of thought.
Well, last thing you said was you and your buddy went to go see Cannibal Corpse recently.
Yeah. Okay. So like the imagery on like their like albums and stuff is like super fucking like it's crazy. Let me show you some here. I'll show you some and I'll tell you guys what album it is.
I feel like gore and like grotesque shit is very eye-catching. So a lot of bands love to like capitalize off of it.
Yeah, like this was the newest
like
one.
Annihilator, right?
Yeah, this was the newest one called Violence Unimagined.
Yikes. I mean, at least it's not like realism. I feel like realism would be
called
worse.
Butchered at Birth.
Cool. Very cool.
This one's called Tomb of the Mutilated.
Mood.
Check that shit out.
So it's like, I guess we can all agree that like that's gonna turn some heads, right?
Right? Like, look at this one.
And on the off chance that it turns 10 heads, one of them buys the album.
Like,
then you're already off to a good start.
like they're cool though, you know?
It's very
like in their own way.
It catches your attention, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like that's kind of been the same I guess like the same premise on the internet.
Like a lot of people like really like look out to like find that shit.
People love gore, and what did they call it? They call it morbid curiosity, where it's like, yes, it's morbid, but you're curious as to what happened beforehand, what happened, and then what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
So that is a huge that is a huge reason why I am a follower of a page that I am on Instagram, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, so what's your first pick? Let's talk about a website that you had no business being on.
I had no business being on Live Leak, dude. Like, seriously. Like, that was the one that really, like, wow.
So,
you could see some shit on that one, man.
For
There
anybody
was
that
so
may
much-
be listening,
Huh?
for anybody that may be listening, tell us what Live Leak is.
Dude, Live Leak was, like... You'd go there to, like, see videos of, like, fucking people cutting people's heads off and shit, like shitting, like, wars, like, people killing people, like, in really grotesque, fucked up ways and shit. Like, it was disgusting. I wish I could have never been on Live Leak, honestly. It was so fucking gross. And it's not, I don't think it's like that anymore, though.
So, if you could just off the top of your brain remember one thing on there that like really just stuck with you, what was it?
Damn.
Because I know it's a lot of them.
Okay,
because
the
a
only
website
one
I'm
that
going to talk
the
about
only one that
is pretty rough.
really stuck with me was like the first time, like it was like I was like in like middle school, like just on my like phone or something, or high school or whatever, and like there was like a video, like I found like a link to Live Leak of like a beheading or something, and it was like the first thing that really like I saw, and I was like, damn, I was like, that was, wow.
Isn't it scary to think that like shit like that happens
Yeah, man.
on a
Well,
daily
like,
basis in the world?
I
Maybe
mean,
not beheadings, but like murders.
Yes.
Isn't that fucking weird to think
Yes.
about? Because I've seen some fucked
Well,
up shit in
no,
my life,
because
but
it's
I've never seen a
honestly,
murder.
it's honestly not weird to think about, honestly, because that's been happening for literally all of history, so it's really
Well,
not
I
that
know,
weird.
but even when you think back to all of history, it's weird as fuck to think about.
No, because I mean, it's like
Maybe he is real fucked up.
no, because humans are animals.
I mean, you're right. We just know how to tell jokes sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. We develop in a really fucked up way.
So how old would you say you were when
I
you
was
were on
like-
this website?
I was probably like 13 or something like that.
Isn't that around the time you go through like puberty?
I think so, yeah.
Would you say that this made you who you are today?
No.
Or at least assisted?
I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, I guess because now I know like I guess maybe from an earlier age I maybe know like how fucked up the world is sometimes. But I mean,
Do you feel like it
I
guess,
definitely
like-
okay. I definitely don't think about like I don't think about what's happening in like a local area kind of thing. Like I don't think about what's happening around here, you know what I mean? Like I think about what's happening all around the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you feel like learning kind of what goes on around the world and like what like the premise of death and all this shit is, do you feel like it made you, I guess, like desensitized for sure, but like do you feel like you could see a murder in real life and like
Probably, yeah.
not really be fucked up about it?
Yeah.
Damn, you're better than me. For some reason, the idea of people taking each other out it does something to my brain. Like the idea that somewhere right now someone could be like taking somebody out. There's something about that doesn't sit right with me. And I think that's the normal response. I've been alive for a while. You know, I know this shit happens. I don't want it to happen around me. I don't want nothing to fucking do with it. One of the websites that I grew up on really fucked me up. Have you ever been on Best Gore? No. Okay. So I feel like in some context, I feel like Best Gore is along the same lines of Live Leak, where you would log on and there was like immediately you'd log on and there was a like age thing where it was like, are you 18? Yes or no? Obviously I wasn't fucking 18, but what's a button gonna do? Stop me? Yeah. Bye. It should have. That should have been my first red flag, but I was young and dumb. But so Best Gore. This is a website where you just see a bunch of photos, videos, recordings, all of that of just absolutely intolerable situations. Like all grotesque, all so morbid. And me and my friend Alicia, if you're listening, hey Ia, I love you. But we used to play this game. I used to spend the night at her house. And we used to drink her mom's alcohol without her knowing. Sorry, Venus. Venus was cool, though. She still is. Anyway, so we used to drink, and we used to get on Best Gore. And we used to go through as many pages as we can before someone threw up. And then whoever threw up lost. Fuck? And 9 times out of 10, it was me.
What's the worst thing you saw on there?
So I saw a lot of really fucked up shit on there. Like, I mean, I'm talking from stabbings, shootings, all that. But the worst thing that I saw, and it's the only thing that I really like that really stuck out to me, it was these 2 people. They were walking around in the woods and they stumbled across a dead lady. Like, she was just dead in the woods. Mm-hmm. And for some reason this stuck out to me so bad, even though she was already deceased. So it was like I wasn't a part of, like, I didn't feel like I was a part of the actual, like, demise.
Yeah.
But she was already dead. And these 2 people pull out a pocket knife and start poking her with it. And they poked her in the face with it. And for some reason...
I just thought of something really funny. I'm sorry.
For some reason, that fucked me up. And that's like the only thing I ever remember. And I'll tell you what, I never, not once made it past page 14.
Jesus.
Out of thousands of pages. Jesus. 14 was my limit. Every time. And it was kind of like
You know what's fucking weird? I'm sorry to cut you off.
It, like, refreshes.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but, like...
Go for it.
I feel like people listening are going to be like, dude, how the fuck are these people? These people are like, they're definitely serial killers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because, like, we're talking about, like, this, like, really fucking gross ass shit. But, like, only people, I feel like a lot of, like, people feel like, us being into that kind of stuff is like, oh, they're like fucking like serial killers or some shit. You know what I mean?
Let me premise and feed off of what you just said real quick. I am not into this stuff. I am not into it. It just so happens that I ended up
We just have so much curiosity. It just, we can't help it, dude. It's like I can't help it. You know what I mean? I want to know. I want to see it.
Yeah. So it's like, I want to say, and, you know, by now, you guys should have figured that this episode was going to be a little gruesome. We will put a trigger warning at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, like in the title, dude.
We might even record something and put it in the front. But anyways, you should know by now that this episode is very gruesome. But I am not into this stuff. I just so happened to end up here. And being chronically online since I was, 11, 12?
It's really bad.
It's just like, it's kind of like how now is. Like, the internet is not geared towards children under the age of, like, fucking 5,
I
10.
don't. I honestly
At this point, probably even
I
higher.
literally have no idea.
I feel like only adults should be on the internet. But it's like, back then, when we were younger and, like, first getting on the internet and first seeing this kind of, like, really gruesome shit, there was not as many, like, community guidelines. There was no fucking...
Dude.
There was no supervision.
Did you ever go on 4chan?
I have, which we will talk about in a little bit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, so 4chan is the next one that we'll talk about. But, like, Best Gore, man, that shit was rough. And, like, still to this day, I feel like that website alone, one, I should have never, ever been on it. But two, it altered a piece of my brain to where, like, now seeing everything that I saw on those 14 fucking pages, has made me the person that I am today because I am terrified of that shit.
Yeah.
I am literally, my biggest fear in life is dying and fire. Okay? But now seeing all those things, I always immediately, whenever I'm in a situation that might even be potentially sketchy, I immediately am like, what if I'm going to end up on Best Gore?
I think the same fucking way, actually, for real. I'm like, cause you've seen so much shit and so much, like, videos or whatever, that your mind, like, literally thinks like that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
like
just
your
like,
fight or
you're
flight.
like imagining in your head, you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, our fight or flight responses are so just, like,
fucked up,
heightened.
bro. So fucked up.
They're so fucked up. They're so heightened that it's like I feel like us that have been on websites like this, I feel like we always think of worst case scenario.
And honestly, I'm gonna be real. I really don't think it's my fault, though. You know?
I really don't think it's our fault either, because there should have been way more restrictions, way more guidelines.
Dude. But I also really can't blame them either for really not having the restrictions they did back then, because they didn't even know what was even a thing. You know what I mean?
I know. It's crazy how far the internet has come in the past, like, what, 15 years? Like 10.
Oh, yeah, that's wild.
Even like 10 years it has gotten so much
crazy.
crazier. Like, you cannot even say the word men or man on Facebook without catching a 30-day ban. Like me, I'm a fucking criminal. You cannot even say certain shit online without getting, like, blocks or post bans.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
but back then, websites like this were not being governed at all. And it's the same with other websites that we're going to talk about, like 4chan. Like, there was no supervision.
I mean, I don't think there is still really.
But, I mean, I will say,
I haven't been on it in forever, though, so, like, I don't know.
Same. I think the last time I was on 4chan was, like, back when I was with Rob.
For me, it was really like a big thing for, like, in, like, high school, around, like, junior year, senior year for me, for some reason. That I was just, like, looking at fucked up shit for a while, and, like, yeah, and, like a little bit after that, and, like, I just haven't looked at that shit ever in, like, a while. And then when I do, like, run into it, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
like, I just
it's like,
don't even.
woo.
I'm like, nah, I don't even care anymore. Because, like, oh,
but
my
yeah,
God.
it's
because I'm sure we've seen some, like, really fucked up shit.
We've seen some fucked up shit. And I mean, I'm not going to talk about a lot of the super fucked up shit. I'm not going to go into super detail.
Some of it's just way too gross, man.
Some of it is way too gross. And some people
there's
are
one that
way
I
more
remember
sensitive.
that I'm going to tell you after we stop this recording, because it's I don't even want to say it on the fucking recording.
But it's like, it's
so
just
gross.
crazy. Like, the internet is a lawless wasteland.
Hell yeah, man.
But so that's one that I should not have been on. I should not have been on Best Gore.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 4chan. Why don't you take the
Yeah,
the
that
lead?
sounds fucking terrible, though. Oh my God. Yeah, 4chan. What a great website that was. Dude, which forum did you go on a lot?
So I can't remember all of, like, what they all meant, but I think it was, like, what was it, /B?
Yeah, B was, like, I think B was general. Was, like,
Was
the
it?
general one.
Or what
Like,
was
it was
/R?
like, I don't know what R one was. I know /G was, I think, the Gore one, and
I can't remember.
Into this one, I went on the Gore one, like the /Gore, and I clicked like one of the links or whatever. I think there's a gore one. I don't remember. I feel like people are gonna be like, "Oh, he's lying." But, like, I clicked on like a link on
Like,
whatever
favorite.
forum on 4chan.
I mean, at least we know the slashes.
Yeah.
So that means that we are at least fucking familiar with the website.
But I clicked on this shit. Bro, this shit was so just fucking gross. It was like this video that got spread around on 4chan. It was like two guys, like one hammer or some shit.
Oh my god.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Dude, oh
No.
my, that shit's
Fuck that.
gross.
And like, okay.
Dude, I was like 13 or 14 or something seeing that shit.
Can
I was
we-
like, what? And
Wow.
like, I look back at it now and I'm like, why the fuck did I click on that link, bro?
Right. But it's like curiosity.
Because it was like,
Curiosity gets the best
and it
of
was
you.
like some gross, it was like some disgusting like gore
Yeah.
website.
And I'm sure a lot of the listeners will understand exactly what you're talking about. Exactly.
Oh, dude, it was so fucking
But
gross.
can we take a quick little side track from that and also talk about some of the videos that we had no business seeing? Like, literally, something is minuscule now that we all think about. We're just like, well, yeah, that fucking happened. Like, 2 Girls, 1 Cup. The dude with the fucking mason jar.
No.
Yeah. Like, we had no
Why do you
business.
gotta remind me of this shit,
No.
bro?
We had no business.
You know how
seeing
long
shit
it
like
took
that.
to get me to remember, to like forget that shit?
You're welcome.
Thanks.
We
What the
suffer
fuck?
together, babe. But it's like we had no business seeing that. Why did we see that? Why? Where were our parents?
Dude. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mom.
It's just shocking. But I will tell you, all of this shit that happened on the internet kind of shaped me as a human.
Yeah,
And at least I'm really fucking funny now.
Yeah, at least
You
I'm
guys will
like,
find
at
out.
least I'm like cool, you know?
You're cool.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I swear to God.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, so like 4chan, right? So 4chan is like a website where they've got like all these different forums. And like all the different slashes mean different shit. I could not possibly tell you what they all meant.
Yeah, I don't remember them all anymore.
I do know that there were a few that were specifically targeted for different things. Like
Yeah, there was definitely like a category like thing going on.
Yeah, like there was one for gore. There was like a general one. I'm sure there was stuff for other like. I know there was one for video games at one point.
I think there was, yeah.
There's still.
I would
don't even
assume.
know if 4chan still exists.
It
if we're being
probably
real.
does. I would assume, right?
But there's
Or
definitely
is it
one.
like a different like
Yeah.
you know, or something.
I don't know, but it's weird. 4chan was just weird because it was so all over the place. Like there was gore, and like when I was on there, let me just preface really quick. I was never on there by myself. My ex-husband was into some weird fucking shit. Like he could watch the craziest shit and not be affected. Like go straight to sleep. Like he's probably a psychopath. I mean, he's a Gemini, so he's halfway there. So like I was never on 4chan by myself. But I do remember while he was perusing through 4chan, on one of like the more fucked up things, fucked up forums, there was like one video of like some girl that like passed away in her bed and like the coroner came to get her and like the family was like for some reason filming it all. And like it was not gruesome at all. It was just like very unsettling. And there's something about just something even as like personal as that I feel like none of us should have been a part of, that just like it makes your tummy hurt. I have a very sensitive tummy. I can't even drink a Mike's Hard Lemonade without getting a tummy ache. There was also really weird parts of like 4chan and another website that I'll mention here shortly that were, like we said in the beginning, not gore, but very inappropriate. On 4chan, there was like threads of like people with explicit photos that were leaked, you know, stuff like that. And I actually one time while my ex was on there, he for some reason was on that app where it was like finding people or something like that. There was a picture of my sister. He was like, "This is your sister, right?" It was like a forum where they post like pictures of girls and it's like, find this person or who is this or whatever. I can't remember what it's called. But they posted a picture of my sister and they said name is blah, blah, blah. Age is blah, blah, blah. And like where she's located. But it was like, I need to know more about her. And it was like a picture of my sister. And I'm like, what in the fuck is this? What the hell is going on here? And then I later learned that I too was on there. It wasn't an explicit photo, but like my selfie was on there, and people were like talking about me, and I'm like, who the fuck? Who in the fuck?
Ew.
Like, what have I done to anyone?
That's fucking weird, dog.
Right? So it's just like, these websites are so ungoverned. It's a lawless wasteland, dude. Like, I'm sorry. What the hell y'all want to know about me? I am chronically on the internet. You can figure it out for yourself. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Not like I keep anything fucking private in my life. You can go onto Facebook, find out my whole life story.
Yeah, it's just weird because it's someone that you have no idea who it could be.
Exactly. And because that's another great fucking thing that I don't even think you just put together. All of this shit is anonymous.
Yeah.
It's anonymous.
No
so
one
that
knows.
makes it even
no
worse.
one knows who anyone is.
It makes it even worse.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show, too, like, how 4chan is not just, like, it's a plethora of things, right? And this is a website we had no business being on. But it's like, it could be something as minuscule as people posting pictures of, like, you or someone you know trying to, like, learn more about them. And it's all just strangers. You have no idea. But it could be as brutal as, like, literally watching someone leave this earth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't sit right with me.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, there's one part of 4chan, and I cannot remember where it was, but there's a specific tab or / something where it's all about, like, paranormal stuff. I fucked with that. I think paranormal shit is cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, I guess it's not all bad. There are parts on there where I feel like it could be a tolerable place to be or, like, read stuff. But 9 times out of 10, 4chan is a terrible place to be.
Oh, yeah, no, don't go there.
God forbid you get posted
don't
on there.
fucking go there. Please don't go there. It's not really a...
It's not really a place that you want to just go explore.
No.
Because you will get lost and you're going to see some shit that you don't want to see. And I hate that for you. Because it might, depending on who you are, it might alter you a little bit. I've seen some shit that has, like, shut me down for a little bit.
Yeah, some shit that you're just, like, thinking of for, like, the next, like, week, and you're like, holy fuck, man. Like, the image of it's just in your head.
Yes. Like, the image, man. Like, just seeing certain images, you just can't, like, constantly see it.
Yeah.
And, like, it could be something so minuscule. Like, something that fucked me up today, right? Literally just today. It wasn't even anything that was, like, I don't know. It wasn't, like, person-on-person violence. I saw a video, and I only saw a few seconds of it because I really wanted nothing to do with it. But there was a bear that was, like, mauling a moose. And just hearing, like, the screams and, like, all the noises from that, I wanted nothing to do with it. It was on TikTok. But it's like, oh, my God, bro. Just something about that even made my stomach hurt. And that's, like, something that I can't get out of my head. And it's been, like, 12 hours. And that's not even, like, the word. That's, like, nature.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that happens in nature.
Oh, that's another topic we can
I'm
talk
well
about.
aware of it.
Oh, boy.
Why don't you go?
Oh, God. That's probably one of the other things I could probably still bear that I still see normally is, like I saw, like, a picture of, like, a fucking, like, cheetah or some shit, like, that had, like, the head of, like, a hyena or some shit, like, just running through, like, the savannah or something. You've seen that picture? Like, shit like that, like, nature stuff, I'm, like, I'm pretty cool with, because I'm like, yeah, cool. It's, like, it's because it's different because it's not human, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I still can't even do that. And, like, I've always had this weird thing, and I don't know what it is, if it's mental illness, if it's me being an empath or what. But I have always been mortified of, like, thinking about something's, like, last moments on Earth. And it could be something as silly as, like, oh, there was a wasp, right, around me, and someone smashed it with a shoe, or like a potato bug or something, right? Someone smashed it with a shoe. It's like they were just doing their best, and for some reason they're gone now. And it's like, it was so stupid. And it's like, even that video of that bear mauling that moose, it's like, that moose was just moosing, and he didn't understand that, you know, within the next few seconds his throat was going to be ripped out.
I mean, it's like that sometimes.
And I always
in
think
nature,
about that,
you know?
about like people too, like, and I don't know if it's just me being an empath, but even like I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and they can cover really well known, like, I guess, cases, and I still think about it. So it's like, perfect case, JonBenet Ramsey, right? JonBenet Ramsey.
Who's that?
You don't know who JonBenet Ramsey is?
No.
She was a little girl that just mysteriously ended up dead. They don't have any answers, and still to this day, this happened back in like what, I believe it was like the maybe 80s or something. Like
where at?
Can't remember. I want to say maybe like Idaho, Michigan, somewhere. Chicago? No, not Chicago. Illinois. I don't know.
She went like missing in the wilderness.
No,
or, like...
she was at home while her family was sleeping.
Oh.
They think someone came through the window and like murdered her.
Weird.
I don't know. But anyways, I just think about that. Like, she ended up, like, they found her in the house. Anyway, but I think about that and I'm like, what, like, her last few seconds of just like being in fear and not understanding what was happening. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of like people that get deleted off of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the last few seconds, it's like, what the hell? Like, I don't know what's happening. And then it's like, just for some reason, right? Say the afterlife is real. They go up in there and they can replay, like, what the fuck just happened? And it's just like scarring. Like, if I sit here and I think about, like, okay, my grandpa died from a stroke, right?
Yeah.
It's like his last few seconds of like breathing was probably so scary. And it's like, I sit here and I think about it. Or like with JonBenet, it's like nobody knows who killed her. But it's like she does. And she's the only person that has that fucking answer. And I always think about it, like, when I think about her, I'm like, damn, her last few seconds of life was just terror.
Yeah. That,
absolute
okay.
terror.
I see what you mean. Like,
I know, it took me a long time to get to that point.
Like the last moments from their perspective.
Yes, like from their perspective, their last few moments of life was probably just so fucking scary.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but that's so haunting for me.
Because, like, I don't even think you even realize what's going on when it's happening, honestly.
I guess it depends on the circumstance.
I mean, I don't think you would. Because it's either, like, I feel like either you'd be already, like, in that, like, trance beforehand, like, if you're seeing it happen, or, like, as it, and then let's say, like, as it's happening, like, as it, like, right as it's happening, it'll click, like, right there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
but it's like,
I mean, there are definitely some people who keep cool, but, like,
I feel like at a certain point, your brain probably has to keep you cool.
I guess.
So that you can, like, just...
Oh, yeah, true. You obviously, like, fight or flight kind of thing. But,
yeah,
like,
and I feel like at some point, like, maybe your adrenaline might just be too high to where you can't understand. But, like...
Yeah, that's true.
I think about it in, like, my own terms where it's
I
like...
I don't know.
If someone were to be strangling me to death, it's like... You're watching this person and, like, you know you can't breathe. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what if that's your last few seconds? That's, like, the only thing. Like, your last few minutes on Earth were fucking terrifying. You didn't understand what was happening to you. Because I feel like our brains make us block a lot of shit out.
Yeah.
But, like, realistically, your last few moments on Earth were scary. And it's like, that just does not sit right with me.
I don't know, because you don't...
Isn't that
I don't
weird
think
to
it
think
always
about?
has to be that way, though.
I don't know. But it's so scary to think about. And it's like, I think about that for
Well, because everyone always hopes to, like, you know, go out peacefully, you know?
Well, yeah, everyone hopes to go out peacefully, but that's not the case for everybody. Like, I'd rather not know.
You don't want to go out peacefully?
No.
Why?
If I had the choice, I'd be euthanized. I would be under general anesthesia and then gone. Or asleep and gone. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's happening at all. But it's like, even in like certain circumstances where people get
do you have like a year like you'd pick and then you'd be like, yeah, like when I'm 60, like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, I honestly wish I could just be immortal, because I feel like
that is so contradicting.
Shut up.
What you just said.
Shut up.
Okay,
well, here's
continue.
the thing. I don't want to die, though, is the thing. But if I had to, I don't want to know.
I don't think anybody wants to die, truthfully, but
I know, but I wish I was a vampire.
It's just always really scary.
I feel like a vampire. I wish I could be one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, legitimately. I would just straight up sit in the shadows and just bite people. That's all I'd do all day. I would sit in my Victorian mansion that I would overcome, because at some point, a lot of people that own some really cool land are going to die. And I'm going to take that mansion. I'm going to make it as spooky as fucking possible.
Sounds good.
You ever seen What We Do in the Shadows? That's what I'm doing in the shadows.
I don't think I have.
I'm taking the scary Victorian mansion, and I'm going to sit in it with all my dumb friends. And we're all vampires. And we're just going to go out in the town.
Isn't the show on, it's on Hulu or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've seen
There's
a couple
also a
episodes
movie.
of
The
it.
movie's really good,
It's
too.
like a comedy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like a bunch of vampires.
I couldn't remember. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, it's a comedy of a bunch of vampires, and they're just a bunch of dumbasses. They get themselves into like a bunch
they
of
look
really weird
fucking
situations.
so
It's kind of
stupid.
like, if I had to describe it as something, I would say it's like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I love me some Sweet D, so I would be a really dumb vampire. Like, I would be funny, obviously, because I can't not be funny. Everything I say is always goofy. So it's like, I'm a funny person, just in general. So if I was a vampire, I'm going to just be funny, but I'm going to bite people. You know? I already look like I bite. I got big old horse teeth. But, yeah. So, like, if I had the choice, I would just be I'd be a vampire. I'd be undead forever. I don't want to be, like, undead like zombie, but I want to be, like, just vampire. One, I don't even like the sunshine. I don't even like it. I'm allergic to it. And that's a fact. I'm actually allergic to the sun, and I'm allergic to water. I can't think of anything I want to do less than go in the sun.
Okay.
Maybe we should get back on topic, shall we? Let's talk about another website.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah, that happens. But I mean, I feel like that's the beauty of having a podcast, is that you can get a lot of thoughts out. My therapist actually told me that this is a really good outlet for us.
You should definitely let her listen to this one.
No.
No?
Not this one.
Why not?
Mm-mm.
Well, like, okay.
I feel like she might lock me up.
No, okay. We're gonna make a little, like, PSA before this one, and then you should just play her that, and just to see if she'd want to listen to it or not.
Perfect. I will for sure send her the parasocial relationship, though. I'll send her that one. That one would be good. I have her phone number now. Anyway, so let's talk about another website that we had absolutely no business being on.
Do you have any others? Because I really don't.
I sure do. And I don't know if maybe you had any experience with this at all, but I sure did. So let's talk about Is Anyone Up?
What?
Is Anyone Up?
What?
You never heard of it?
No.
Okay. So IAU, or Is Anyone Up, was a website that was created by Hunter Moore.
Who
and
is that?
Who's Hunter Moore?
Mm-hmm.
Piece of shit.
Oh.
But I digress. I'll get there.
Okay.
I hold your horses.
I'm sorry.
Hold your goddamn horses.
Continue.
So, a lot of the people, though, that are listening, I'm sure at least some of them will understand exactly who I'm talking about. But I'm going to talk about my experience with Is Anyone Up? So, Is Anyone Up was a website where it was kind of like a forum, like a big thread of shit, where people would post revenge porn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now that's some fucked up shit.
Mm-hmm. So, the thing with this website is not only was it fucked up because of revenge porn, but it was also really fucked up because they did not care to delete underage photos.
Oh, no.
So there were people that were getting revenge posted that were
gross,
minors.
bro. Is it shut down now?
It is.
Okay, good.
But
Jesus Christ.
here's the thing, right? So, one time I was with an ex, One of my exes. And we got in a big fight. He posted me on there. And I found out because a lot of my friends started sending me it. So most of my friends in Ohio have seen me naked. It'd be like that.
Okay.
It'd be like that. But here's the thing. I was underage. I was 17 when it was posted. So, not cool. They did not care to remove it. I literally, if there was any point in my life where I would have deleted myself, it would have been then. But I'm a tough bitch. I'm a tough bitch. And I knew it was only a matter of time before the website itself got shut down. So I just kind of rolled with the punches. Like, it fucking sucked, but like, whatever. And this kind of circles back to 4chan because it was also posted on 4chan. Oh. So it was cross-posted on Is Anyone Up and 4chan. And, yeah, definitely should have deleted I shouldn't have, but that would have been a time where I would have deleted myself for sure. Because, like, 1, humiliating. 2,
yeah,
I'm a fucking minor. I'm 17. And, like, yeah, that's still, like, old enough. And I know I shouldn't have been taking photos like that.
I don't think so.
But it's like, you never really learn about the ramifications. And it was during a time where it was, like, you didn't really know how, like, serious people were when they said, like, oh, everything stays on the internet forever.
Yeah.
Type of deal. So you didn't really think about the ramifications. So you're not thinking that far ahead. And now that I look back, I'm like, God damn. Shit is on the internet forever.
Yeah, man.
Like,
bro.
So many deleted websites you can find so easily if you know where to look. But anyways, so
I'm sure.
That was fucked up. And Hunter Moore is the worst kind of person in the entire world. So this is the man that ran this website. Did not care to delete minors. There were minors even younger than me. There were all sorts of just like really fucked up things. And a lot of people that were posted on there self-harmed and or deleted themselves. So it was fucked up. Like,
damn.
A lot of blood is on his hands.
Wow.
And eventually the website got shut down and he got put in jail.
Good.
And at first there was a rumor going around where like he was sentenced to however long in jail, and then he was not, like, whenever he got released, he was not allowed on the internet, period. I don't think that's true because this motherfucker's on Twitter. He is still on Twitter, and this man, to this fucking day, does not have any sort of remorse. They actually made a documentary about him on Vice, and just telling about how fucked up it was and, like, how his house got raided and all that shit. He's on Twitter saying, oh, why are you so obsessed with me, Vice? Why are you so obsessed with me, Vice? Huh? Have you no decorum?
Yeah,
You
wow.
sleazebag. And, like, this is the same dude that, like, was off the rails. Like, every drug in sight, he'd do it. Every fucking minor, he'd hit it. Like, he had
Gross.
absolutely no remorse for nothing. Like, he would, I guess, what's the word? Well, what's a appropriate word at least? He would mingle in inappropriate ways with minors. Like, he's fucking gross. And he has no remorse. Still to this day. He is on Twitter. Does not give a damn. Still posts some fucked up shit too. Like, people will try to do, like, Is Anyone Up Part 2 on, like, Twitter. And, like, he'll repost them.
What the fuck?
Like, this man should be locked behind bars, and, like, they should throw away the key. Don't even feed him.
Yeah, like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So, like, Is Anyone Up had no business being on, but in my defense, I was not on there by myself. I was posted there, so I had to be there to defend myself.
Yeah.
You know? So, but I know a lot of people that were on this website because it was interesting or they wanted to, they're nosy, whatever the case may be. But it's like, we had no business. The internet is fucked. The amount of people that live in our area that I've seen on there as well, disturbing. So I'm very glad that website got shut down. Very glad. But it's like, I understand what it was like to be on there, so I understand how they feel being on there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a secret that'll go to the grave with me type of shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know who like looked at that and said that is a great idea.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Great idea. But my best guess is that a lot of these like really disturbing links, like I wouldn't even consider Is Anyone Up to be like a disturbing link, because he kind of like promoted it himself, and he was like I think he, if I'm not mistaken, he was like a DJ promoter or something like that. So like he was in clubs a lot, and I think he got like a lot of kickback from that, and that's kind of what kept the flame going. But when it comes to shit like Bestcore, or like I don't even want to say 4chan, because I really don't feel like 4chan's that fucked up either. It can be, but like with Bestcore, I feel like a lot of those links and a lot of those sources come from somewhere on like the dark web. But yeah, so like the internet is a fascinating place, and a lot of those websites are very scary. And
Yes.
I wish to never be on the dark web, because I've seen some like videos and I've heard a lot of podcast episodes of like true crime shit where like there's like chat rooms on the dark web where like you can meet up and like agree to like do terrible things to one another, like mutilation type shit.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yes. And it's like they give consent, but like at the end of the day, that's still a crime.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it's very scary, but I wish to never even stumble upon it. That scares me so much.
Yeah, I agree.
So I can only imagine what type of shit is on the dark web. Like, I know it's really scary. I don't
You
want to
can
know
get
anything
like
about it.
Hitman and shit. Like
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So very scary. And I know like there's a weird, I don't even know how to describe it. There's like a weird chain of events that you have to go through, like a bunch of hoops that you have to go through to even get on there.
Really? I have like no idea how that works.
I'll tell you about it when we get off of here, because I don't want our viewers to get any ideas. Please be good. Scary. But before we start wrapping this up, I want to give an honorable mention to websites like Vampire Freaks and MySpace. Okay? So Vampire Freaks and MySpace are...
Dude, I was thinking about that one earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
funny.
like when you think about it, like objectively, those are pretty tame websites. Like all of us had a fucking MySpace.
Yeah.
But not all of us had a Vampire Freaks.
I did not, but I've seen
You know what
it
it is though, right?
I know what it is.
Okay,
yeah.
so for the viewers that may not know what we're talking about, Vampire Freaks was kind of like a MySpace for alternative kids. So I was on there, and it was just like a MySpace, and you could like set up how you would do a page on MySpace with like all the HTML coding and whatever, but it was all like very dark. But I wanted to give an honorable mention to those two websites, because although they were fairly tame, that was like a breeding ground for grooming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So like I remember just me being young and dumb and loving emo boys. On Vampire Freaks, I found this one kid one time, and his name was Ali. And now that I know better, he had the photos of, what was his name? Alex something. He was like the scene kid on like Tumblr and all that shit.
I have no idea. I actually have never had a Tumblr.
I had Tumblr, but I didn't really understand how to use it to its fullest potential.
I think I tried to make one once, and I was like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, so I just...
Yeah,
No.
Tumblr was very, very confusing, but I used to love just scrolling through there. It was very naughty, though. It became very naughty. Very naughty.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. Any hoosers, but yeah, so I found this one dude, and he had, I mean, little did I know, he had one of the most popular emo kids on the internet's photos. And I was just like, oh, I love this boy. He lives in New Zealand. I'm going to be with him one day. And I don't have the proof to like back it up, But one day he stopped talking to me and he was just gone forever. And I'm pretty sure a few years later when I started thinking about it, and I still had access to this website because it hadn't died yet. I was like, I'm pretty sure that this dude was catfishing me. And then I'm like, who would catfish someone that was like 15, 14 at the time? Maybe even 13. I don't know. I don't know how old it was. I just know it was young. With this person's photo. And I'm like, this man had to have been an older person. Had to have been over 18 at least.
Yeah.
But like the amount of people that you would come across on that website, like I have talked to some people on these websites, right? I've talked to some currently famous people on these websites that are much older than me. Why were you talking to me when I was 14? You're literally like 10 years older than me. Why were you talking to me? Some of our favorite bands in life I have talked to, and I'll tell you about it later. But like, why were you talking to me? Why was I on a tour bus for a certain band, which I'll talk to you about later? Why was I on a tour bus for them when they were fucking 30? I was 15.
Oh my God.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a very, very interesting website, and like the amount of people that I've come across that were just no good. Luckily, I never followed up on any weird shit like that, but like those websites are so easy to be groomed on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what about Kick? All right, Kick wasn't really a website,
I never
but that was
went on there.
That was an app. But man, that place was foul.
Foul.
Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that on another episode, but like I don't care enough about Kick. All I know is that it was raunchy on there.
I never went on there, honestly.
Why were you sending me nudes at 4 a.m? I'm 12. Yeah. Like, yeah. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
It's a shocking turn of events to see how I grew up versus how I am now. Because I'm pretty chill. Would you agree that I'm a pretty chill individual?
Yeah.
I just mind my fucking business.
Yeah.
It's probably because of all of this bullshit that I've dealt with. Like, I had no business talking to people that were twice my age. But now I sit here and I talk to no one. Except for this microphone and you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my cat.
Sometimes.
And my kid when he screams at me. But recently, over the past few years, when TikTok started booming, they've been doing this thing where they mask videos. So the video will start out as something like real cute, calm, collected, whatever. And then nestled within that video is a very disturbing video, like of perhaps a self-inflicted wound with a weapon. You know what I'm getting at? But yeah, like it'll be a cool, calm, collected video, and then it's like you're watching someone's last minutes of life, and it's just like there was no warning. You nestled that in there because you knew that I wouldn't be able to avoid it. There is another video on TikTok where they're doing that same masking thing, and it's the same thing. It's another another weapon being used, but it's like it starts out as a video of something, and it's like everyone loves to say, oh, TikTok is geared towards children. Man, I ain't never seen a fucking child on TikTok. So no, but on the off chance that you're saying, this is hearsay, you're saying that this website or this app is geared towards children, why are you putting videos like that on there? It's just like the Momo videos that they would put on YouTube. So they'll post her in videos, and then they'll like put like audio over it that'll say some like really fucked up shit, like do this to yourself or to your parents or your siblings.
Really?
Yeah, and they'll nestle it into like a video of like Paw Patrol. Like,
ew.
The internet's fucked
what
up,
the
bro.
fuck?
Mm-hmm.
That's really fucked up. Because then, like, some kid or something can see it.
Exactly.
Or something.
And kids are so, like, they're sponges.
And, like, another reason why kids should not have fucking cell phones.
Mm-hmm. Like, kids are such sponges, and they're so, like
they don't need to see that shit.
Like they're easily manipulated.
Yeah,
and, like,
man.
Something as simple as like you posting this video thinking that it's edgy or it's cute or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, no.
It could be like very harmful.
It could be fucking super traumatic for sure, man.
Super traumatic. It could result in very bad things. And it's just all around not good news.
Especially if it's like specifically designed to be scary.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like specifically designed to be harmful. And it's fucked. Like, you knew what you were doing when you posted that.
Yeah, man.
Like you knew what you were doing.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's fucking gross, man. That's fucked up. Damn, I did not know about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm glad that we're both on two separate sides of the internet, because what you may know, I may not.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I may know, you may not. But that's the beauty of putting our brains together.
Yeah, it's a
podcast.
Two's better than one.
Two's better than one. And I am quite the talker, so I'm so sorry, but we're approaching like an hour and 15 minutes now. So I think it's about time we wrap it up. Do you have any last minute thoughts about any of the things that we talked about, or any last minute websites or anything you want to talk about?
Oh, jeez. Definitely don't do research on it, because like you get super desensitized to shit over time. I mean, if you keep seeing it and stuff, I mean, yeah. But just like overall, just be safe on the internet. Yeah. Like,
I think that has been like
Christ.
the main theme of our, like, this episode and our last episode, is be safe on the internet.
Yeah, man.
Because the internet is a very large place, and you may see things that I may not. But that doesn't mean that what you're seeing is safe, and it doesn't mean that what I'm seeing is safe. Like, you never know. It could be two different sides of the spectrum. I could be seeing... I could be seeing something super violent that you won't see, but you might see something super subliminal
and some
that
people,
you may not think twice.
And that's not to say that like everybody sees that shit either, because like I really don't see that stuff anymore. Like,
yes, and I will say that this isn't going to relate to everyone, but you know, I'm sure we've all heard of it at least.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Even if you haven't experienced like any of these videos or something that just are nestled into like much more tame videos, if you've never seen anything messed up like this, I'm glad, but I'm sure at some point you may have at least heard about one of these. But I'm glad that you haven't had to experience it firsthand, because it really can be traumatizing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm glad that for me it wasn't so much traumatizing. It was more so like, I guess like it molded me, I would say. Desensitized me a little bit. So it's like, I'm not super desensitized. Like, I still get very like upset about certain things. But I will say I'm more desensitized than the average bear. So the average like internet consumer, I would say I am probably a little bit more desensitized. So these things have been normal in my life. I have seen these things, but it's like, I feel like at some point after you've seen enough of it, or you grew up in that era where like you see it a lot. Yeah. I feel like at some point you kind of know the signs and symptoms, for lack of a better term. You know, like, I don't know, like if there's a weird cutscene or something, you know that something fucked might happen. Yeah. And I have been groomed to the moment I see something alarming, I scroll and I don't look back. Yep. So it's like I have, against my will, seen things.
I've definitely seen like a couple, but like not like a lot. And I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! Like,
I will say some of these things were self-inflicted. Like, I had no business being on certain websites, like especially Bestcore, because I hurt my own feelings being on Bestcore. I've seen some things that truly upset me, but that was self-inflicted. But something as simple as, or something on the different scale of like accidentally seeing it nestled in a video, that was not self-inflicted, but at least at this point, I have a little bit of experience with it to where it doesn't fuck me up as bad. Yeah. And I stand by that.
Fair enough.
Any last minute words?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Alrighty. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap up today's episode. I'm so sorry that it was so gruesome. I truly didn't expect for it to be this gruesome, but I feel like these were important things to talk about because it is sketchy. And some of you may not have heard about it. And now I hope that at least one person that may be listening may understand that, this kind of shit happens and to be careful on the internet. It seems as though this episode and our last episode, the entire premise was be safe on the internet. And we really mean that. I'm chronically online since I was younger. I mean that. I have seen some shit. I've been through hell and back. And I'm tough, but that's not to say that everyone is. So be careful. If you have, children, monitor what they're watching, because, you never know what they're hearing. It could be subliminal shit, and they're very moldable. So you just want to protect yourself, your family, your kids. And, let's try to not traumatize children anymore, because although trauma, it makes you a different type of human being in the future, it's not to say that it's always positive. My trauma made me funny and pretty chill, but other people's trauma sent them straight to jail. So just be careful. That's what I want to get across. So with that being said, do us a favor. Go ahead and follow us on all of our socials. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at Sketchfest Podcast. And we are also doing a segment where we're going to be reading all of your sketchy stories. So I encourage you to write me your sketchy stories, whether they be paranormal, you were in a situation you shouldn't have been in, so on and so forth. You just got yourself in a mishap. I don't know. Write me the story. I want it to be long, detailed, and I want to read it. You're going to email it to sketchfestpodcast@gmail.com. And hopefully, if we get enough stories, we'll be reading them on the air for you guys. But yeah, you can also follow me and Jake on our personal socials. I will link all of the social links in our description. And leave us some comments on what you thought about this episode, even though it was gruesome. I want to hear some of your guys' stories, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Oh, God. I hope there's not any stories.
I hope there's not any stories, but if there are, I want to hear them.
Personal stories.
You can email them to us, too, if you'd rather do that. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for coming to Sketchfest. Bye.